When we began in the beginning of the year, the president had already called General Kaiseri, the Minister for Interior, and myself, and told us in very clear terms that madness of examination cheating will not happen another time.
So let's talk about cheating and exam irregularities. We saw great success with the results that were released this year. So we saw what was there in the media, but perhaps from what you can tell us about what the cartels were like, what was happening, and how you were able to dismantle that.
At all times, all examination systems around the world have got several risks. If you study these systems across the world, you will notice in China, in parts of Asia, and so on, always those examination cycles come with, all manner of risks. So that is why, because in the past the system of management had been weak and did not anticipate some of those risks, it became vulnerable to interferences by cartels and by people who, of course, had interests that we all know and now understand, interfere with the credibility of the exam or try to rig the examination, as it were, which in most cases came up with, incredible results, as it was. So we looked at that across the board. We looked at the whole cycle, as it were. And the foundation of that transformation is looking at the integrity of the institution that is supposed to manage that particular cycle, which is the Kenya National Examinations Council. When the president gave us an assignment, General Kaiseri and myself, we started by doing a security analysis of the Kenya National Examinations Council. We put together teams. We worked on this with my colleague General Kaiseri on this matter and made several conclusions. There are certain fundamental systemic failures in this organization. It has no capability to actually administer a credible exam. We must begin to reconstruct it. And to reconstruct it requires radical change and boldness, as it were. So we agreed with my colleague General Kaiseri, we have to proceed. My view is, in dismantling the Kenya National Examinations Council, which is a decision the president took and insisted we have to do it, in reorganizing it, which is a decision the president took and insisted we have to make sure that we have credible people running the Kenya National Examinations Council. We went in there. The system, I said this in Parliament, I think it's now, an open secret, that we decided the exam that had been said could not be trusted because the people who said it could not be trusted, and the system was leaking like a sieve. So we discarded the exam altogether, working with the board, and decided we are going to set a new exam, which is exactly what we did. Worked so hard, and I must pause here and tell you this. Much as the public will say what they say at the moment, it will be the height of dishonesty on my part if I didn't say this to the people of Kenya. I am so grateful to God for the strong and solid leadership of the president. You need political will. You can't move forward on this thing. That's why I told you, if it is your plan as a minister, it can't work. It is the owner of the plan who is the one who has a covenant with the people of Kenya. Once the president took a decision that he wanted a radical change in the manner in which the examinations were going to be done, he went to Parliament during the State of the Nation address and promised the country that he's going to undertake to be sure that the exam is going to be credible. Then we worked on the plan together. Number two, I am so grateful to the men and women we ended up with as the new board, led by Professor Magoha. Those are great Kenyans, solid, straightforward people, determined and focused on doing the right thing. Then my colleagues at the ministry, it's a huge team, and my colleagues in the security sector. I worked very closely with the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Boynet, to whom I'm really, really grateful, because he's a real, sincere and serious guy. I mean, I've learned to like him. So we went throughout this exercise, as you now saw it and what the public can see. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, most of which I will not really go into. And then we decided, a lot of people ask me, why was I going? I went to containers and people are saying, they've never seen a minister going to look at the exams and so on. So I keep asking them, what do you think I'm paid to do? I am paid to sit at Jogo House and read newspapers or count people, greet people and have tea. That's not what I'm...